Jake, can y'all hear me? I can't hear y'all.
Got it muted. Yes, we can hear you.
Ah, we got it. Thank you. You turned it back off.
You want to unmute it?
Can you call David Whitman? Oh,
What?
he's a commissioner.
I will make note of that.
Well, that's true. I didn't write that down.
He missed the last one too, the special meeting.
But
Good morning, Matthew. Morning. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Hey, Melody, how you doing?
I'm good.
I like that color.
Thank you.
That's not really a pink, it's like a salmon.
Salmon color.
Yeah, salmon. I'll get me a shirt like that. I think we can be proud of it.
Hey, you been following the Bearcats?
The who?
The Bearcats?
Bearcats, yeah.
Oh, they're kicking.
I know it. This spring ball did good for us. We call them Bearcats.
Tell you what, my son, he's been out there 3 years, he still follows it. I mean, every time he can get a game on streaming or something, he's on it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that. Y'all ready?
are we gonna get Dwayne or Harold? Nobody's gonna join us about the bills to pay? I don't even have a list. Do you have a list?
David, Dwayne just asked me to put bills to be paid on there just in case there was something, but I called him and I don't know.
So we're just gonna skip.
One that we'll get Bruce to
Yeah.
talk about 1B1. Then we're gonna dog out Matthew.
We should have labeled this the Matthew Court.
Yeah,
One of these is very easy, one of them will take some discussion.
He needs to activate YouTube and then turn this
Just
thing
said no mail, well, there, we just make a motion.
on. Tammy?
Go ahead.
It's still steel.
I'm
I'm gonna,
gonna fast forward it. No, hit the live thing, maybe that's what it,
Oh.
that's it.
go ahead. It's a mute and.
Yeah, you just, yeah. Okay, so you're in the,
Are we live?
we're live.
Yes.
Microphone's on.
All right.
It's on.
Leon, you hear us okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. All right. We need a bigger one too long. Tap. All righty, it's Friday, April 30th, about 8:37. Special meeting, Commissioner Court, Liberty County. Had a little bit of a late start because due to weather, but that's okay. We're all here now. Let the record show that Commissioner Wilson's online by Zoom. Mr. Hugger Mueller, our fire marshal, is online by way of Zoom. Catherine McCarty, Assistant County Attorney's online with us as well by Zoom, and so is Captain Knox. The Liberty County Sheriff's Office is also with us by way of Zoom. Commissioner Arthur's present, Commissioner Karbowski's present, Commissioner Whitmire is not present. Okay. First item on the agenda this morning, bills to be paid. Also budget amendments, and I think Bruce, you might have one to at least elaborate on.
Yes,
some
on
of
this budget amendment, unanticipated repairs on my chipper. I'm transferring 15,000 out of my road material into repairs and maintenance.
Is that the second one or the first one?
The second.
Second one.
So are we tabling the first one?
No,
Okay.
no, we're just discussing.
Okay.
Okay, first item, bills be paid. Need a motion in a second, if there are any bills be paid.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion, Bruce, second, Greg, to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. Number two, budget amendments, and Commissioner Korbowski just explained what he was doing, transferring funds from one line item to another to facilitate repairs to equipment. Got a motion. Second, from Leon, to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise,
I'm
nays.
sorry, I got behind there. Who did the motion?
Greg.
Greg. Number three, from our county attorney, Matthew Poston. Consider and approve revised agreement with Tyler Technologies for jury management products. And since we're fixing to crank up jury trials, it's probably not a bad time to get this taken care of.
Yes, yeah, so let me give you a little background here. So we entered into an agreement with Tyler Technologies almost 2 years ago, or maybe even 2 years ago. And it's kind of taken us this long to finally get through go live and everything. So not too long ago, well, and I should say included in all of that was something they called Tyler Jury, okay? And that was going to be where the clerks are able to pull lists from the voter registration data from the state and, send out the summons to all the jurors, for each panel. Well, so we get through go live, and I can't remember exactly how it came up, but we had a lot of meetings. One of them it came up and said, where's our jury part of the package here? And I said, well, we haven't set that up. And so the story as it emerged was in the 2 years since we've entered into this agreement, Tyler has purchased another company that has a superior jury management product, and they are sending on their own product to greener pastures, and they're not installing it on any of the new installments, and so that puts us in a bit of a bind. Now, if we had gone live, I guess last March, that probably wouldn't have been as big of a problem, but here we are, like Jay mentioned, we're about to be cranking up the juries starting next month, and so we're in a bit of a bind. We have, I believe, figured out a solution where they can at least pull juries, for the foreseeable future. We'll be able to handle that. But the question now is, what do we want to do more long-term, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, we have a contract that says, they're going to provide Tyler Jury for $6,500 on recurring fees every year. Plus, we've agreed to pay, and we have implementation costs. So, the cost of spinning it all up, getting it on the servers, everything working. And so Tyler's saying, well, now you paid us this money, so what we want to do is give you a credit towards our new product, and you to transition to that. And at first they were telling us it would have to be sometime mid to late next year. They have since come back and said, no, we can have this on your server live by the end of the year if you move quickly. But for all those conversations, I think there's been a couple of views that have emerged. One I think is centered around some of the costs. So I'll give you some of the costs here, and this is included in the amendment that's attached as well. So with our current Tyler Jury, we're paying $6,500 a year, and we had, I think, about $2,100 for the implementation costs. What they're recommending now is something that would cost 48 a year total. It's gonna have a whole lot more bells and whistles, but it's $48,000 a year. And so one of those uses, I think, and I'll let the district clerks, give you that view. But on the other hand, it is a much superior product. So one of the things it does, well, one of the things that's included in that is about 10 grand in printing costs. And what's really kind of neat about that is if you do use their printing, they will automatically run your selected panel through the United States Postal Service change of address database and be able to pull out all those folks who already notified the post office that they don't live there anymore. They don't live in the county. I don't know what percentage of hours, that will affect, but I imagine that's going to be a good number. So what you end up doing is you get higher quality lists for what you're paying. You won't have to send it. Currently, we send about I'll say the county portal, we send about 200, I think, to get about 40 people to show up. Normally, actually about 30, between 30 and 40. And also they can get a 6-person jury. In district court, I believe the numbers are even worse than whenever I left the DA's office.
We send about 450.
About 450, hopefully to get 40 to 50 people to show up. Also, you get a 12-person jury. I wouldn't keep the data, but I kind of do rough estimates whenever I'd see juries come and go. I mean, it started out, you could pretty much guess it would be about a 20% return or 20% show up rate. But that has dwindled. I've seen, numbers as low as, 11%, 12%, like that as well. So there's kind of, this is a policy question. This is a budget question of how we want to spend our money. What we're getting if we go with Tyler's new and improved version is something more integrated with our system. I think it's certainly the direction that a lot of folks are going to be going in the future. There's cost involved. So, but no matter what, we need to know quickly. If we are going to go down the road, we need to do it quickly. If we're not, then we might have other options. But, so I bring all that to say there are people who are closer to insurance rules than I am, who are in the court. I'll turn it over to them. Yeah.
Well, my question is on the money because they showed us 2 different things. One is where we do the mailings, which is substantially cheaper. And if we let them do the mailings for us, that costs more, but then that takes that work off of us. And then it allows them to do some things that reduce the number of erroneous mailings that go out. So did they give us both costs or did
they itemized it? Okay. So in that the Summons Direct is built. They build it in for a flat fee a year, and you get up to that amount, and then you have to pay for each additional summons sit out beyond that. But it's $10,980, and that includes 18,000 summonses for the entire county at 61 cents a summons. It does not include postal.
Simply a couple of years ago, we got into this deal with Tyler, and the price was astronomical, I felt, but it was the best system out there to use. And for us to come into what we're working in with the COVID and everything, I understand all this stuff. Where is the stopping point, or is there ever a stopping point? I mean, every time I turn around, at least every couple of months, we got Tyler back on here, wanting more money for something. Now, they sold us a product that was supposed to work in our major contract. Now they're saying, oh, well, we're going to eliminate this one, but we're going to charge you 10 times the price for another one if you want it.
Right. No, it's a fair criticism. I get it. I mean, it is. This is, it's a criticism that I heard from other counties. We wanted to go and see folks who use Tyler, who don't use Tyler, who use different, competitors, et cetera. And that is one thing that I heard from you. In some senses, yeah, some of those issues as far as, you know, the ever increasing cost issue. Part of that is attributable to things like this where, you know.
Do we have any idea of what we're paying Tyler now with everything that we've added on throughout the years?
I'd have to ask Dwayne exactly. I think it would be in the neighborhood of the mid to north 200s a year. But, you know, we were paying low 200s, you know, for that data year, not including the infrastructure costs.
I wish Dwayne or someone from the auditor's office was present to be able to ask. It's hard to approve or agree to something when we don't even know if we have the budget to do it.
Hang on.
David, you got a
We do.
question?
But here's the thing, what we're doing now with the juries, we can ink it along a little bit longer, but essentially, even net data, we have to buy a new package if we stay with them.
Which is a
Yes.
whole lot
So,
cheaper than.
It doesn't matter which direction we go, we're buying new software to do juries.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I just went out with 450 juries for Judge Kane's court.
Mhm.
I had to go to NetData and pull it because there was no jury package.
Okay.
I printed the cards, 450 labels, 450 do-it-yourselfers labels, 450 official summons to put because of what we have to attach now inside an envelope.
Good.
And I do have one other thing. I talked with Patty.
Melanie, we want you to get up so he can hear you.
Sorry, Leon, hopefully.
My bad.
It's okay.
I talked with Patty Henry in Chambers County, who has Tyler package already, and she's my best friend, we keep calling. They had the old Tyler jury package.
Come a little closer because Greg and I can't hear you.
I don't want to interrupt anybody else. They have the Tyler jury package, okay? And currently, they had the old and they're going to the new. And I don't know if anybody in here knows how hard it is to configure Tyler. 2 years is what it took our office just to do the data.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We get to configure the jury package,
Yes, ma'am.
also, which is time consuming on our part. And I understand it's not gonna be up and running until the end of the year. That's why. But she's done it. So what they're doing is they're not only letting Tyler mail their jury cards, but before they do, because they decided to go with panels. In other words, a cattle call.
Mhm.
They will call, and I'm just using these numbers out there, it's no particular number, but say they'll call 3,000 people. They will send out first a postcard that says, please go to this website, log in, answer all the questions. Then someone goes in there and determines whether or not, if they're exempt or they've got a legitimate reason not to come. Those are pulled. Everybody that's left, that's okay, shows up on certain days. So this is the way their judges are deciding to start doing it. It's a little bit easier and not have to send out so many jury notices.
Mhm.
NetData has the same thing. We can do whatever. So Delia and I have looked at both systems. I understand everybody wants bells and whistles. But my theory is Tyler's a little expensive.
Okay.
And I know how hard it was for us to configure. And once we did all the hard work for 2 years and we go live, none of it was right. So we sat for an extra 2 weeks
Mhm.
reconfiguring everything. So I see this happening with the jury. So be very careful. Let's look at all options. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna push Tyler, I'm not gonna push NetData, but let's look at all options.
Well, I prefer to get a recommendation from the people that use it.
I mean,
Is that-
Thank you.
you know, we use it. I've seen what NetData can do. Our information is already there. They can do the same thing. They can do the updates. They can do everything else. I think Delia got a quote.
Can you come closer so Leon can hear you?
I'm sorry, I just.
And Greg,
For what it's worth, the only demo I've seen so far is Tyler. I haven't seen it.
Chips in it. Yeah, NetData is a little bit more, it's there, but it does the job.
It does.
I'm okay with bells and whistles, but when you get them so bad that it takes 9 people to figure out what you're doing, we gone too far.
I think Tyler's coming in with all the bells and whistles that our county right now don't need.
Okay.
So why buy something we don't need right now? If we can grow into it, fine. When we get bigger, all this expansion, then maybe we can go there. But I don't think we need to spend all that money right now if we don't need it.
True.
You know, they talk about tying in the juror with the case. How many years have we been doing it the old, what they quote, the old fashioned way?
Mhm.
I mean, I'm just saying, let's not jump into it right now. We're the ones that working with it. I think we can, if you will allow us, let us look at it. Because Tyler Jury does not have to, it won't tie into anything else, right? I mean, we can have our
Please don't ask
own.
me.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
We can say with that data, we can go with somebody else that's not gonna
Well,
do anything to do with
that's
Tyler.
kind of the beauty of the jury thing is it's not really related to
To
the
anything.
cases or anything. It's not related to the data.
Exactly.
What we want from them, I've got like three big things that I care about. One is the pull from the voter registration system, so that we have updated names of who is, eligible to serve on a jury, because it comes from our voter registration system. This, and net data right now is pulling once a year, and we seem
No,
to keep
data
it.
now is got the capability, right now they do that because that's what they only had, like all of them did. They now have the capability to go in and pull.
Multiple times,
Multiple.
yeah.
Yeah, so
That's- but
this is a
yeah.
new net data system.
Yeah, this is the one we have to
But
find.
because we already,
Yeah,
but because we already have it, like I said, I just used it.
yeah.
So because we already have it, the cost of it is a whole lot cheaper than us having to build a complete new system.
I think it's like 13.9 yearly,
Yeah, I can't remember
Yeah,
exactly the
13.9
deal.
as opposed to.
Well,
what
as
they're-
long as they give us a good jury list where we're not constantly sending letters to deceased people, because we get a lot of complaints about that. The second one is that,
And that works to our advantage. If we do send it out one time, I doubt if we send it back the second time, Clint's here to clean that up and, we can get that
But
done.
they're pulling, net data's gonna pull from the
From the
voter
same-
registration.
The same thing
and
Tyler
state
is.
votes. So
Same
well, what
thing
was
Tyler
happening
is.
is they were doing it once a year, so when we would update the voter list, but it wasn't going into the pull list, so we were still sending, jury summonses to deceased people, or people had moved over and over again, and we were getting a lot of complaints. If we can go in and remove them from the system, then, that's a very good thing.
I guess what,
The second thing is being able to do electronic shuffles and print,
Yeah, that's
the
all
things
we
that we
got,
need for
that's all we
juries.
got.
yeah, that's already there.
The third one is-
That is already there.
the third one is we haven't had up to this is a way to manage the money.
Mhm.
Because we deal with a lot of cash with these jurors, and they get to pick like, oh, I'm gonna waive it, I'm gonna donate my money to Bridgehaven.
Mhm.
And, we have to be able to manage and keep up with all of that cash. And that's kind of a hassle, so if there's some way that we can go in and,
Yeah, it's there.
It's there.
okay.
It's there.
Those are the
I'll tell
two
you how-
things I'm worried about,
This is how big of a hassle it is. We get a check from the treasurer's office, if we have a jury coming in, we go over there, we get a check for $1,000. We go right across there, we cash it, we get 5s and 1s,
Mhm.
because they get $6. When the jury comes in, we already have the list of people that are already here. When they're being excused, they walk down the steps. I've got 2 deputies there, we've got 2 lines going, they're in, just like that. What's your name? Sign here, you got $6. Sign here, you got that. They say we want to donate, we give them a piece of paper, you sign what you want, that's it. We give it to the treasurer.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying about bells and whistles. I wish I didn't treat, I treat the county's money like mine. If I can get it cheaper, I'm gonna go that way.
We appreciate it.
If it needs just a little bit, it's been working this way, so all I'm asking is let us that work with it, please give us the time to go search this and let us come back to you with.
Sure.
What it
I'm
is.
gonna say this, the one thing that kind of piqued my interest was the updated list that Tyler could send out, by the postal system. And then there was that cost difference, so what is the cost? I don't know. What is the cost whenever you send out the green cards? Is it 15 cents, 25 cents?
Correct.
But Tyler was gonna charge 41 cents?
61
61.
plus postage.
20 cents between friends, okay.
Yeah.
But it's still
It's a lot of money.
a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, a lot of money. But at least you had a good concise report on who's gonna get those letters. I mean, but
Right.
Is it working?
But I think you're still going to have, even with net data, if they decide to go with the big, and I hate the term cattle call,
Yeah, well, that's what
but
it
it is,
is.
you know, I think if the judges decide to go with that type of system,
Mhm.
where we're gonna do a major pool, still would be wise to send out the postcards first.
Yes, ma'am.
Because those jury cards, by the time you get, unless it's lifted in June, the time you get the plan for the jury, that they know their safety, and then the questionnaire behind, the code questionnaire, gets to be a lot of thick paper, as she knows, as she ran those through the machine this last time, that's a lot. So it would cut down on the postage on that tremendously.
Shame we can't do it the way Judge Bryant did years ago, just send the bailiff out there on the street and grab about 12 people.
Yep.
We'll go over there when they cutting their hair, and they go, when you get through, show up over here. We know you were here.
Yes, ma'am.
I think Greg's guys are going to get a couple of times.
So what you're saying right now is just leave it alone.
Please, well, let's not get into, if y'all give us the
I
time
do
to
not
get
have an
it.
opinion. This,
Okay.
I would like
folks are gonna
take
talk to the
idea,
people.
let's see.
Yeah,
Let me just say
let's
this,
see.
yes, this.
There's one more thing. Judge Kane has organized a meeting for next week. The statute says that the judges are supposed to, if we're gonna use a non-paper, if we're gonna use an electronic jury pool system, according to Government Code 62, it says that the judges have to recommend the plan and the commissioners have to approve it. We've been looking for the plan from when we originally went electronic, we haven't located it yet, but we're looking for it. But I think he's wanting to have a meeting about that plan. Do we need to make updates to that plan? And I think they're gonna come back with something for you. So, I mean, I'm guessing, do you know what I'm talking about?
Do you mean the electronic responses from the panel members?
No.
He wants to meet next Wednesday on the.
I think they're going to set the plan out to
Yeah.
do the cattle call.
To do the-
I think that's what
And that, we don't
Judge Kane
have that
is.
right now.
We don't have it
I know
right.
that they're
But
doing that in chambers,
regardless
I'm
of-
assuming, you know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Regardless of how he's gonna do
Yeah.
whatever he's doing, we're already electronic. So
Yeah.
I think what it is how we're gonna get it, how we're gonna get him here. I think Judge Kane is how many he's gonna call out and so forth.
Yeah.
So, but our is, you
He's
know,
gonna write a
is
plan.
working, yeah, he's gonna work.
Well, and
But has nothing to do with how we proceed with getting the jury here. I
yeah,
think that meeting is how many
How-
and when he's gonna, and how.
and how to do with OCA rules considering.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Well, let me ask you all this question. Would you prefer to table this until you have a meeting with Judge Kane?
Judge Kane, meeting is the 5th of May, yes, sir.
Yes, okay.
That's next week,
I
and
think
then that'll give
that
us
way,
time to get
When it
numbers.
gets down to the courts, the judge runs it. And he's gonna, I mean,
Yeah.
you've been there a long
That's
time, you
That's
understand.
true.
What he wants is what's gonna happen.
what's gonna happen, correct.
So let's give him that opportunity. And,
Thank you.
and we can table this and come back and revisit.
Okay.
Leon, you got that?
That sounds great. I think that's the proper thing to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the discussion on it too.
I do too.
Yeah.
Moving table.
Got a motion from Greg to table,
Second.
second Leon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes, nay. That motion does pass. Thank y'all, too. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Number 4, Matthew, don't sit down yet.
This one's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Consider to approve resolution creating alternative dispute resolution system for Liberty County District Courts, statutory county courts, and just of the peace courts, including the approval of a court cost in the amount of $15 in each civil case filed in the countywide courts, and $5 in each civil case filed in just of the peace courts, in compliance with section 152 of the Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code.
Was that enough words for you?
I'm not out of breath yet, but we're getting close.
So, one of the bells and whistles we got with Tyler was what they call Moderator, which is an online dispute resolution system. Now, I'm not gonna oversell this and say it's the solution to all civil disputes whatsoever, but it is a tool that can be used to help parties resolve differences, help them to talk and hopefully come to some sort of resolution, so that it's, more efficient for the courts. So what it, more or less, it's a system where both parties get to log on. Litigants, either pro se or represented, can log in and they can confer with the other side. The judge has access to it, so there's some kind of accountability to maintain decorum or civility in those communications, and certain steps, so that they can hopefully get resolved. But so we signed a contract for that, updated, I think, a couple of 3 months back. And it is funded entirely by court costs. But as we got to looking into that, we realized we needed an authorizing statute, an authorizing resolution to be compliant with the statute so that we could charge those court costs. And so there are certain exemptions that are in the resolution, no delinquent tax cases, no condemnation cases, no forcible entry, evictions at the JP court, et cetera. $15 per case civil fee up here at the courthouse, and then $5 at the JP court. So no cost to the county. This is more or less how we can pay for this tool to be used by litigants.
Make a motion to
Whoa,
approve.
whoa. I want to put it on record because I have been trying so hard to get our fees down. This is going to raise a lot of fees, including probate filings. $15 a case. I just want that out there.
Okay.
Not to mention we have to go in and reprogram Odyssey again. But yes, it's going to raise those probate fees and those filing fees that I was working so hard to get under control. So it's costly.
The one point I want to make is in compliance with section 152 of the Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code.
Yeah.
So this is a compliance issue, correct?
Well, so if you want to charge the fee, 152 says the commissioner's court has to authorize it.
Yeah.
The number of
We don't
court
have to charge the fee.
You don't have to.
If we do, it's gotta be approved at court.
That's right. And I will say though, if we don't do it, then the county's gonna have to pay these fees for Modria on its own. You see what I'm saying?
It also says in the statute that you can choose any amount, $15. So you can make it $10 or $12 if you wanted to, just hit the whole 15, yeah. So,
Matthew,
Yes.
what's your recommendation?
I would ask you would approve this. I think it's going to be an invaluable tool, especially for a lot of the more contentious and more common types of cases. A lot of family law cases. The similar programs are used in other counties so that the parties can have good communication between each other, come up with parenting plans. Courts are happy if they have to, just as a general rule, get into the nitty gritty and create a parenting plan, but they are much more inclined for the parties to solve that issue. And this is how those sorts of things get done. So I think it's a good tool. I don't know if that's all for you.
One of the things that we battle every day are unfunded mandates. And that's simple. And right now the legislature's in session. I'm sure that they're conjuring up enough unfunded mandates to where it will scare us to death. And it's just getting ahead of the curve, I believe it is. So it really gets down to an issue. In what method do you want to use to gain this compliance? And is it a cost increase that the county will pay, but the consumer will pay, or the person filing? You decide. But going to court is not cheap. I don't care what you're doing. It's a JP court, or it's going to be all the way to district court and beyond. That's just
My motion stands.
to approve.
Yes.
Okay, got a motion for Bruce to approve. Got need a second?
Second.
Got a second from Leon to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion is carried.
When is the starting date so that we can, I guess, immediately start? Yeah.
As soon as we get the resolution signed, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
And I'll make sure they strive here in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Look at the code, because it does exempt, if it's for particular.
Yes,
cases.
I got it, I got it.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Okay, number 5. Mr. Douglas, this is considered and approved Texas Community Development Block Grant Draw Request number 3 to pay LJA Engineering $5,650.50 on the whole FWSD Water and Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. I think it's pretty cut and dry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
Great.
Yes, so we're moving forward with this. This project is rapidly approaching completion. The work on the sanitary sewer facility up there has now been completed. The last element of this drawing or of this project, they're going to be cutting down on an old elevated water storage tank that's located right there by the freshwater supply district office.
Yes.
And so they're in the process of doing that right now. This is a Texas Department of Agriculture grant. And so we need to approve a draw for $56.50 and 50 cents. And that's a payment to be made to LJA Engineering in conjunction with closing this grant project out.
Yes. Great description. Thank you. Got a motion, Greg, to approve. Looking for a second.
Second.
Got a second from Leon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. Motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Need a motion to adjourn. I don't
Make a
see
motion to adjourn.
Bruce. Need a second to adjourn.
Second.
Got that from Greg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.